let's transition to two guys that are probably the furthest away from indie wrestling, and that is John Cena and The Undertaker.
Wait a minute. Are we going to talk about Roman Reigns, too? We're going to talk about Roman Reigns in this whole thing?
We might, but we're going to talk about John Cena and The Undertaker first. That's what the segment is. That's what the triple threat topic is, Ryan. So we got to talk about that first.
I got to talk about Roman Reigns.
No, we will. We'll jump into that. So this is gonna
Y'all think we idiots.
We're going to be talking about John Cena and Undertaker because we have some takes on that. And I actually want to hear your take on a certain question I'm going to ask you. But and then we'll probably jump into a little bit of the Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar shitty storyline. But
oh yeah, it's awful. Yeah. It's award winning.
We're gonna go John Cena and Undertaker. Obviously, when we were there on Raw 2 weeks ago, John Cena teased that he had asked about a match for WrestleMania. Now we find out it actually is a storyline thing. More than likely, the Undertaker and John Cena have both known that they're going to face each other since however long back, probably the Royal Rumble.
Probably before the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, maybe.
I heard in December.
Maybe even possibly. So this, from what originally I actually thought might be just Cena going off the cuff when we were there saying they're not going to allow us to do the Undertaker-John Cena match. Now you see this past week, Cena going out, clearly storyline-wise, calling out the Undertaker, making fun of him on Instagram and all that stuff, or making fun of Michelle McCool's Instagram, because Undertaker seems to pop up there whenever he wants.
It's just poking at the dead man.
Absolutely.
By the way, why would you poke up on your wife's Instagram if your gimmick is that of a dead man?
Well, because I actually, maybe the Undertaker's so smart because the Undertaker's psychology has been so great. Is that he said, you know what, I'm gonna go on social media. I'm gonna keep myself out there a little bit, just so people remember.
He's the Undertaker, though.
I know, and of course wrestling.
But I guess this is the reality era. This is what we're in now. We're in the reality era.
Yes.
So with social media,
I thought the new era. What happened to the new era, or is it dead?
I thought that was the new generation.
I don't
era.
even know. You know what?
No.
This is the reality era.
Yeah, no, it's the
social media age.
The millennial.
The millennial era.
There you go.
Hey, we just coined a new phrase, man.
The millennial era, right there. Yeah, the WWE's in its millennial era right now. You heard it from the Ring Journals first. Salute to the millennial era.
Salute.
But so John Cena and Undertaker, I think the biggest question here, because obviously they're going to have a match. Biggest question here is, what? And I'm going to ask both of you. I want you to just give me an answer. Just give me an answer, and then we'll analyze it. Ryan, I'll ask you first. Which Undertaker shows up? The dead man or the American Badass? Ooh. Just answer the question. Don't analyze it. Just what's your guess?
It's gonna be the dead man, even though it should be the American Badass. But like I told you earlier, Kid Rock is being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And who did the first ever Undertaker American Badass theme song?
I think that'd be Kid Rock. Yeah, Kid Rock. Okay, so Eric, your opinion. Who shows up at WrestleMania to face John Cena? The dead man or the American Badass?
Damn right, the American Badass.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I got the American Badass, too. I think he's going to show up. I think, Ryan, you want him to show up, too, obviously, right?
You want to know why?
I want the American Badass.
Me too.
Because it just doesn't work
too.
anymore at the Undertaker gimmick. He put his gloves, he put his coat, he put his hat
symbolic,
in the middle of it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about.
The old dead man is gone,
Well,
man.
WWE did a good job in this sense, is that I legitimately thought that Undertaker was retiring last year. Right. I thought that's it. But what all he was doing was retiring the dead man character. He's come back. He's not going to be the dead man. He wasn't necessarily even the true dead man at Raw 25 either. He came out, didn't have his usual entrance, walked out of the ring. I get it was in the old place, but he still wasn't even truly the dead man there either. And so I think really the last time we're going to see the dead man is at WrestleMania 32 or WrestleMania 33 after his loss to Roman Reigns. We're going to see either the American Badass or something hybrid, something in the middle of that.
You mean like the oh, sorry, Ryan. Yeah, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, like, we've seen the Undertaker, American Badass, or Big Evil versus John Cena before.
Yeah.
But not this way. We've also seen Randy Orton versus John
before.
Cena before. We saw Edge versus John Cena before, and we saw Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock before. It was always different.
But the American Badass character works more for a younger he's more agile Undertaker. It just doesn't work anymore for a guy who's in his 50s.
How do you
with
know
the hip
we
move.
have not seen the American Badass character since what, 04?
But I saw him working out on Michelle's Instagram.
Well,
McCool's Instagram.
Michelle, he says Michelle like he knows her.
Yeah, but like I'm just saying, like that man does not look like he's still in the best of shape. I'm talking about from a straight up eye test physical standpoint.
Well,
He's got to lose the gut. I'm sorry. I don't want to be rude, but it's you know what? Actually, you know what? This is the ring. This is the ring generals, man. We talk that talk.
Absolutely, yeah.
The man is out of shape, from what I saw on Michelle McCool's Instagram. So if he comes to Raw next week, because he better come to Raw next week, because you've only got 3 weeks
I don't think
remaining
he's
to
coming to Raw
WrestleMania.
next week because, again, this has somewhat been building since we were there. The Raw after the Elimination Chamber. So this has actually sort of been a 6-week build in a way. I think it'd be too soon for the Undertaker to show up. I think he's going to show up in 2 weeks.
What is he, Brock Lesnar? Like the man has got to show up.
You know what? Now that I think about it, where is Raw next week?
Raw's
It's in Texas.
It's in Texas,
And that's where the Undertaker lives. So now that I think about it, he probably is.
Home state, man.
I mean, possibly, potentially, maybe, hopefully. But Eric, what were you gonna say?
There's a lot of hope words in there.
Yeah.
Well, we both know that he did play the dead man character, but what about you guys left out on this other character that Undertaker played, and this is when he had a group with the Ministry of Darkness.
I don't think that's coming.
You
back,
know,
though.
that you guys left out that part too.
I don't think that's PG enough to be in the WWE anymore.
Oh, come on,
that's
man! This is. Has WWE really gone this soft
Absolutely,
over the years?
they don't even allow,
have they gone?
They don't even have blood. How they gonna allow sacrifice?
Have they gone Disney over the years now?
Absolutely,
Wow!
Have
But
you
they're
been
making a
watching
hell of a
since
lot more money.
2009, Eric? Because this thing has gotten super soft.
They've been making a lot more
Wait,
money.
so
though.
okay, so they're not afraid to show old videos of him doing those sacrifices in the network, right? Like it looks like they're not afraid to do that. So
The network is geared more to us, adults. I mean, let's just be honest. That's who it's geared towards. That's why all this Attitude Era stuff is pushed down our throats, to almost to the point where people like me have gotten sick of it because, it's geared towards us because they know we don't like the current product. So how do you get them still hooked? By getting them hooked on their old product that they were used on and just let them binge watch that and let them watch stuff in documentaries and behind the scenes stuff and podcasts.
well,
and,
also
that's just the way it works.
Well, also Undertaker, he pretty much swore and cursed when he was the American Badass. So let's not forget about that. So what version are we going to be seeing?
We're gonna see the one that swears and curses, like we saw the Rock's version that swore and cursed.
The Ministry of Darkness, by the way, Eric, would not work because you would need to have, in my opinion, if Bray Wyatt still had his group with him,
a huge build for that. Too.
you would need to have a huge build. And if Bray Wyatt still had his group, that would be the perfect person to
definitely.
take over.
Yeah.
And that's when the Undertaker blesses Bray Wyatt and says, "Hey, you are that next guy going into the new era."
that's a good
Who
point,
is going to be that? And Bray Wyatt calls himself the new face of fear. That's why if anybody should have broken the streak, in my opinion, a long time ago, it should have been Bray Wyatt. Because Bray Wyatt should have gotten the ability to get that rub to be able to say, hey, I am the new face of fear. I just beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania and ended his streak.
Not Brock, huh?
Not Brock. It should have been Bray Wyatt. But, that's a topic for another time. That's a conversation for another time. At the end of the day, we're getting the dead man Undertaker. You're going to hear that gong next week.
Right.
But the John Cena promo was great.
No,
It's
regardless.
fantastic.
Yeah, regardless, if we want to see the American Badass back, which would be cool, of course, that's a character I loved. But of course, WWE wants to keep that mystique, dark, dead man gimmick of his, then, well, we're going to be seeing that. And do you think that this will be ultimately Undertaker's last match? Because
100%.
They always say this every year, like this is going to be Undertaker's last match.
He got announced for the Saudi Arabia 50-man Royal Rumble, though.
He did?
Yeah, he got announced for that. So will it be his last one-on-one match? Yeah. Probably. I can't see
possibly, or I think you might have mentioned this a lot, not in the podcast, but to me, just outside, just on the phone or something, that he might have his last match at Survivor Series, since that's when he debuted. Correct? He debuted at Survivor Series.
Yeah, that would be a great way to sell Survivor Series.
So maybe that's the last time he wrestles is there. So maybe. Yeah,
but who does he go up against at Survivor Series? Kane again?
No, I don't think anybody would want to see that. You'd have to figure it out. Maybe John Cena again. Maybe something happens at WrestleMania. Maybe the Undertaker beats John Cena at WrestleMania, and then loses the Cena at Survivor. Something like that.
Well, Kane. I mean, he's too busy, campaigning to be mayor for Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yeah, which I didn't know was Knoxville, Tennessee. That's a big ass city.
Yeah. So
let's go. Shout out to Kane, man. Shout out to Kane.
Yeah, Jericho.
Is he running as a Republican or Democrat?
He's running as a Republican.
No, he's
libertarian.
No, he's libertarian.
Libertarian?
Yeah,
that makes a lot more sense.
He has Republican views. No,
that's what I thought. I'm voting for Kane no matter what. It's like the Rock runs for president. I'm voting for the Rock. I'm just saying.
Yeah, the Rock's running as a Democrat.
Well, also,
it doesn't matter. Rock's running as the Rock. There's nothing. Yeah. Rock's running as the Rock. That's what he's running as.
What's your party, the Rock?
Yeah, the Rock. And I'll be like, okay, I'm part of the Rock.
Well,
party
also like Kane.
That's actually a great name for a party, right there.
Party,
the Rock Party.
Well, also he's not only the only one who's like running for mayor, but Booker
Rhino
T.
Rhino was too back in the a little bit.
Well, Booker T. I was gonna say Booker T. He's also running for Houston.
Mayor of Houston.
Even a bigger city.
Oh my goodness gracious!
You got to deal with hurricanes and stuff over there.
I know.
That's crazy stuff.
Yeah, and
you guys imagine if Booker T was the mayor when all that stuff happened last year with the hurricanes? Can you just imagine Booker T being on TV every day talking about we're going to do all this and FEMA's not giving us stuff? Mm-hmm. Yeah, like. It'd be strange. Same thing with Kane, man. It's gonna be weird if he has to yell like
I would secretly hope he would say, "Tell me he didn't just say that." Like, I mean, but in reference to Donald Trump.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm starting to see that a lot of these wrestlers they're starting to get into politics. And I thought Kane, Booker T. I think Vader's also one of them.
Rhino also ran.
Well, also Vader is also like trying to get. I think he's been in politics for quite a while. And Rhino's also getting himself. I think he's gonna be. He wants to run for mayor in his city in Detroit.
How about Linda McMahon? She's in Trump's administration.
Oh,
I mean, you don't get more involved in politics than being in the president's administration.
Well,
right?
Especially Trump right now.
Well, the McMahon family has always been associated with him for
the
a long
Republican
time.
Party.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, I think Donald Trump has like 44 followers or something like, or he follows 44 people. One of them's Vince.
And
they're good friends.
And you know what's crazy too? Vince McMahon is about the farthest away from a Republican, like a staunch Republican as you get. Like, it's just crazy.
I think he's just friends with rich people. I think that's why they're friends. Yeah. I don't think it has anything to do with politics with that friendship. It's the same, I think, with Brady and Belichick.
I hate politics.
Yeah, I know. How did we turn the Undertaker John Cena
why are we all
into a full-on Linda McMahon?
We were talking about Kane.
And I definitely don't want to talk about Trump because he could be a Ryan Rants topic every week.
Yeah.
So let's not talk about Trump right now.
Do you think we should transition to Ryan Rants or?
No, I think we still got to talk about Raw a little bit more.
Raw?
Then I got a plan. I got a plan for a little bit later. It will all tie in.
So how about Cena? Do you think that's also would be his last match?
No.
Absolutely not. Cena's got so many matches left in him, and I'm still waiting on that heel turn. And I think you could do a heel turn against the Undertaker at this year's WrestleMania.
He's somewhat turned heel in some matches. Like you look back at the when they had the big gauntlet match. Cena was acting like a heel against Seth Rollins, leading him on.
Telling the referee to stop the match because he wanted the match to end quicker to get on to the next opponent.
I believe there was I don't know why I can't remember this, but there was another time where he acted a little bit heel too, and he's been acting heel on the mic. I mean, going.
Roman Reigns. Was it the Roman Reigns storyline?
No. I'm guessing it was more recent. It doesn't matter. I just seen a lot of his matches recently. He's been a lot more heelish in the ring. He hasn't been the good guy Cena who's pandering to the crowd. It's more about beating the opponent and kind of talking trash to them in the ring, which is not a very, it's not what a face is supposed to do in wrestling. So I do think he would be somewhat of a tweener going into WrestleMania.
So little by little, he's starting to be that heel guy, like not as like already like, yeah, I'm gonna be a heel guy. Yeah, I'm gonna beat the living hell out of you. But little by little, like small little parts that we catch like that.
Well, I mean, even this him going on Raw and making fun of a guy for like being retired,
fragile,
semi-retired and fragile. Like that's a heel thing to do. What he did on Raw talking about the Undertaker was a heel thing to do.
I don't think so. I think it was more of him coaxing the Undertaker and trying to
poking.
Yeah, poking him and trying to get him to come out of the shadows.
Well, that's true.
That's what I think. And also, I wanted to say this. You know, we talk so much about John Cena turning heel, but I keep saying this, and I think this is the first time I've said this on this podcast, but I've saying this to you guys when talking to each other in just normal conversation, that we cannot get a John Cena heel turn until Roman Reigns is universally cheered. Because you need that perfect baby face to go up against that super villainous heel. And Roman Reigns is right now as the
never
super
going to happen.
And it's not going to
happen.
That's
like saying,
and so that's not going to happen because of that.
But the problem with that saying that is that that's like saying we can't have something until John Cena is. It's just not the way the crowd. The way the crowd is now, and the WWE crowd is just different from how it was 10, 15 years ago. They cheer the bad guys a lot more now. So, and they boo the good guys a lot more. So it's a thing to boo. I've said this before. It's a thing to boo John Cena. All of a sudden, the crowd is not just going to start cheering for John Cena.
But there is a reason. There is a reason to boo a character. There is a reason to cheer a character. Not just because everybody else is doing it, but because there is something about that character that you just don't like, that you can't get up out of your seat and just go as loud as possible.
Click,
just click. And you can't get up out of your seat and you can't scream their name and just be like, hey, like, you have to boo them. There's something there with their character that is just not right. With John Cena, it was his character being bland. With Roman Reigns, it's the fact that he's getting pushed down our throats despite the fact that nobody wants to see him. There's something in a person's character that makes people say, hey, no matter how much people around me want to cheer this guy, I'm going to boo that man. I'm going to boo him.
Yeah, but I don't think – I honestly think now you look at 95% of wrestling fans, like hardcore wrestling fans, they're booing John Cena because it's the thing to do. It's not necessarily because they don't like John Cena. It's not necessarily because they think he's bad at wrestling, because obviously he's not, and he has bad – I mean, John Cena is a good wrestler, has great mic skills, has the pedigree to be a champion, but is still booed just based on the fact that he's John Cena.